So I've now played Season of Discovery for over 100 hours. It's about time I share with you the top 10 tricks that I've discovered on my journey. Let's begin with some raiding tricks. So one very overlooked world buff is definitely Agamagan's world buffs. This is a Quillboar that you can talk to in the Barrens, who provides a number of primary stat boosts and they last half an hour. He also provides a 30% speed boost, and there's also the Razorhide buff that provides a 25% boost to your armour and a cheeky Thorns effect. Since BFD runs can be done in under 30 minutes by competent groups, these buffs are definitely worth getting, especially if you are pass chasing. Somebody's terrible moped just casually ruining my audio recording. But alas, moving on now, Twilight Lord Calrus's Shadow Chain mechanic does actually count as a snare effect. It's quite nasty obviously because it restricts your movement and deals a lot of shadow damage, but it can be cheesed. I mean, since a fat potion makes you immune to snares, it can actually make you immune to all of the damage or ever actually being inflicted by shadow chains. So the ideal strategy is to pre-pot a shadow potion, and when that wears off, then use a FAP. And you really shouldn't ever take damage from this boss, to be honest. And when your DPS is good enough, I mean, everyone can just pop one and just one-shot the boss. By the way guys, just quickly, while I was making this video, I did actually discover a new skip for BFD, which I definitely have to mention. This can actually save about 10 minutes, it's pretty good. So what you do is you kill these two Twilight Lore Keepers here, and then straight after you go into the water. Now you've got to make sure when you go into the water that you do not jump. Make sure you do not jump, because then you will actually pull the mobs, obviously, in the rest of the room. And you swim as far down as you possibly can, you kill all the water NPCs, and then you come to this location here and you just jump up and press W. It's about easy. Just remember, don't have any pets summoned or anything, because then obviously the mobs will pull. One thing that's definitely going to help with that is bringing your drum buff from the Ashen Veil PvP event. They can be used in raids, so you may as well. By the way guys, all subscribers can get access to my full detailed weapon progression guide for every single class in the game for Season of Discovery. Just go to my channel trailer when you hit my channel page. A really underrated consumable is the Minor Recombulator. Now this is an engineering item that will require you to have engineering. What it does is it removes poly effects, but it also gives the target 250 mana and health. We really don't have great mana regen right now at this low level, and the low rank of Warlock Life Tap is honestly driving me insane. So the more of these you have in a raid group, the better, especially as any class can use them. Speedrunners are having everyone in the raid group using these on cooldown so that the healers never actually have to stop for mana. You can get the recipe from this little goblin in the Booty Bay. Moving on to gold making now. What if I told you there's an easy way to make gold without ever actually farming gold? And this method will easily make you able to afford pretty much anything in the game just by using a very simple trick. So what you do is you make multiple characters and get them to camp certain vendors. Certain vendors around the world have items that can be very easily bought and then flipped on the auction house for a simple profit. For example, the free action potion recipe in Orgrimmar costs about 25 silver depending on your reputation, but you can then sell it for 2 to 3 gold easily on the auction house due to its limited nature and the fact that people just won't be patient enough to camp the vendor themselves. There's a number of vendors in the world that also sell mana potions, which are massively sought after right now for raiding obviously, and also because you can actually get a recipe for the best mana potion yet. The heavy crocodile stew in Dustswallow Marsh is also a good option because people want that 8 stamina food buff. So what I would recommend doing, is what I've started doing, is logging into all of these characters, camping these vendors when I log into the game every day. I mean, sometimes the item's not on the vendor, sometimes it is, but at the end of the day, it's free gold for just logging into your characters every hour or so. Now, if you're doing Warstone Gulch premades or queuing up on your build, you definitely should be doing it in Thunderbluff or Darnassus. And this is so that you can get the BFD buff. It actually has a movement speed increasing effect, which is so incredibly useful in PvP. And because it pops so often, you should get it at the start of every single battleground. Also, if you're in Darnassus, you can so easily level up your fishing while you're in the queue. Now, there's one very strange problem in SOD, and it has to do with Shadowfang Keep. For some reason, towards the end of a dungeon, when you stand inside the big Wolf and Worgen room and go to the stairs, the entire room pulls and you're pretty much guaranteed to wipe every single time unless you've got a really good group. This is because the Worgen above you on the bridge is patrolling, yeah, for some reason he pulls. It's very, very irritating, but there is a way around this. So one thing that I've been doing to fix this problem is using AoE to pull. If you position the green circle of your AoE ability on the wall near where the mobs are, it should catch them and then pull them one by one. Just get the rest of your party to stand way back because going into this room is just asking for chaos. Oh, and by the way, the extra ghost wolves here that spawn can be literally one-tapped by a simple demo shout. Now, as you get into the habit of swapping your runes, different runes are better for different raid fights and PvP situations. Pick up gear you already have or a side grade if nobody wants the loot, because it's worth sticking an alternative rune on it. Obviously only do that if nobody else needs the loot, because it would kind of be a bit of a dick move. You can easily swap the gear with equip slot macros, just match the numbers to what you see on the screen right now for each equipment slot. Getting around in Classic is still a pain in the backside without a mount, so teleport tricks can be very useful. So I'd recommend getting this Logout Death Skip add-on. If you're inside an interior location and run off a ledge while spamming a logout macro, you should get stuck in mid-air. If you log out at the time, it should mean that you will respawn at a graveyard nearby. The lines and crosses on this add-on will show you where in a certain location that you will end up with this little trick. But anyway guys, that's going to be the end of the video there. My name is Metagoblin. Until the next video, ciao.